and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of Full Sim Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe. Cantu's on the other side. Steban's on my other side. Boys, how was the weekend?
We had a good weekend on this side. Hope everybody else had a good weekend too. Ran a little 5K with some boys
Okay.
Saturday. And want to go out to eat, hit the beach up, and then Sunday just chilled and got invited to a homie's house and ate some Mexican enchiladas. Not like the regular enchiladas with the meat, like you know how like the queso fresco ones and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
chicken and all that. Yeah, that's so like I personally don't eat that a lot, so it was kind of like a little first timer. What about you?
Sounds nice. Sounds nice. Sounds like you know staying fit, but also getting the protein, those gains going in for sure. For me, it was pretty chill. I celebrated my brother's birthday on Sunday. Ordered some canes. My grandma makes a pineapple upside down cake, homemade, very delicious there. So I had some of that, and then I think we just chilled. I don't really remember much about about the Friday and Saturday, but after that, was just that.
Well, I'm glad y'all enjoyed your weekend. I did a little bit of cleaning of my garage, literally Saturday and Sunday, but for good reasons. So glad to hear everybody's having a great past weekend. Step on that 5K, and then we're eating all that good Mexican food, man. I mean, what are we doing there? That calories basically were burnt, and then they were gained all back.
Hey man, you gotta eat it all that back up too. You know, you can't just be dead there. But man, before we get into the Astros podcast as well, I don't know if y'all see the T-shirt, but
Oh,
we had a little trade go on
Trade.
this weekend, and I wanted to ask y'all and maybe if some of these Astros fans, what do they feel about Kevin Durant coming to Houston?
I mean, personally, I don't like the move. I think Jalen Green was a key piece to the Rockets' offense, but I mean, having a guy like KD, it's always special. But the thing is, if he can stay healthy, that's the biggest question for me.
I looked at it as like when I saw 5 second round picks, it's almost like prospects in baseball. It's either a hit or miss with these guys. So, and I saw that number and I was like, man, that's a lot. But then again, you remember how many first round picks that the Rockets have. So I wasn't really too bad about it. The only thing that kind of bothered me was I would have liked to see Jalen Green one more year. Last year was his first ever playoff bound games. And of course, he didn't do the best, but that's why you try to rebound and try to do better your next season. And I think Houston could at least give him one more year, but it looks like Houston's in that ready win now mode. And Kevin Durant's future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, for me personally, I've been a Kevin Durant fan since he was with OKC. So
Yeah,
glad to see
same.
him in the H.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. Just I know it's gonna be scary for a lot of teams out there, especially when the Rockets are rolling out their all big lineup.
Yeah, Jabari Smith and Kevin Durant on the same team, both can shoot threes, long, wide guys. What wingspan over 7 feet, I think, or like that. So pretty good there.
Yeah, it's insane how now these Houston teams, like just for instance, U of H basketball, they won literally. They were in the national championship game. They could have won. Now what the Rockets are building right now, the Astros, of course, are inevitable because they just keep on winning with losing key pieces. And then, of course, you got the Houston Texans, who did make some moves this offseason. So if you're really a Houston sports fan, you got to be excited and optimistic about what the sports have in this city. I mean, the Astros are doing really good. Like you said, Stevan, Durant is a Houston Rocket now. You got CJ Stroud and the Texans and that culture over there for football. I mean, it's amazing time to be a Houston sports fan right now.
Absolutely. And we do have some comments coming in. Been waiting since 9:30. Yeah, sorry about that. But we'll try to be better next time. Uh, every Houston team taking it this year, and super excited Houston taking on titles this year. There you go. So some fans agree that Houston's going to be a sports city. Well, it is a sports city, right? But with some championships coming soon.
Yes. Yes, most definitely. So I know this is not a basketball podcast. This is an Astros podcast. So title this episode, Astros Outlast the Angels, episode 268. We're going to recap that Angels series, and the Astros did win another series on the road. It was a spicy one, especially to start off this series with Hunter Brown and Zach Neto. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a sec. Preview the 2022 World Series matchup of the Philadelphia Phillies coming into town playing the Astros at Daikin Park. Jeremy Pena, I don't know if y'all heard the news, guys, has a new rep representing him, which is going to be an interesting part for the Astros now trying to lock him up. Left-handed back could be coming soon for the Astros because honestly, in my opinion, the Astros do need to look for a left-handed back coming at the trade deadline. And we have also a Spencer Arrighetti update, which is a positive step for him to get back on the mound for this Astros rotation. Cantu, already know before we get started, can you tell everybody where they can follow us and where they can find us?
Of course, you can find us on X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. That's at Full Steam Ahead. Instagram, it's FSA Full Steam Ahead. You can also find us on Apple and Spotify podcasts. You can hear us now live, or you can hear us tomorrow whenever you have time. Listen to FSA. But most importantly, make sure you spread the word, subscribe, give those likes. Check out all the social media posts we do. We try to, give you some content every day, every time the Ashes are at home. So, look out for all that good stuff.
Yes, and like we said too, we are going to be doing a giveaway soon. We just haven't had the time to do it yet. Maybe a bobblehead. I know Seban had mentioned a card too.
Wait. Put that bobblehead back on. Which is a giveaway one? Is that the giveaway one?
That could be the giveaway one.
For all the ladies out there, make sure you subscribe. The shirt comes off too, so
this is basically your personal Barbie in a bobblehead form. Stepan did mention a card if we get something going with that. I don't know what kind of card. Maybe the 1-of-1 Bryce Matthews autograph card. Maybe. But yeah, we're definitely gonna do a giveaway pretty soon for all the support and the love that we get every time we get on this podcast. But guys, before I move on, you have anything before get the show on going?
Yeah, let's get it going.
Let's go real quick. Astros are 45-33. They are 4.5 games in the American League West and 7-3 in their last 10 games. They took a road series against the Anaheim Angels. I really don't like to say Los Angeles because it just doesn't sound right. Which a team was coming off of a really hot series. Give away your heart, Steven. Yes, give away that. But yeah, I mean, the Angels took 3 of 4 against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. And coming back to Anaheim, I mean, momentum was on their side, and Houston just did a really good job holding on to that momentum. And with the series opener, it was Hunter Brown.
Yeah, absolutely. Game 1 for this Angels-Astros series. And honestly, this was a tight series besides that game, too. The Angels really came and did not let up. They were ready to battle and try to get some games on the division winners from the past 2 seasons. But game 1, 3-2 game. Offense was started off by Jeremy Pena, Isaac Paredes with 2 back-to-back home runs. Pena finishes the game 3 for 4. Paredes 2 for 4. Myers 2 for 4. And Astros have 9 hits. But the biggest thing is those were crucial home runs that they gave the Astros a victory, because that's all Hunter Brown needs to shove and throw a good game. Hunter Brown, battled through this lineup. Again, this lineup did not let up. They made him throw a lot of pitches. Usually Hunter Brown likes to go 6, 7 innings. He went 5 just because the Angels put up some great at-bats. He pitched 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Hunter Brown in his previous start had 12 swings and misses. This outing, only 4. And that just shows that the Angels had a game plan and they were executing. They made Hunter Brown work. And, just tip your cap off to them. But again, Hunter Brown doing Hunter Brown things, doesn't let up, got the victory. Got the no decision after all. He did allow a home run to Joe Adell, finished with 87 pitches, 42 strikes. He threw 34 sinkers, 23 fastballs, 20 knuckle curves, 4 changeups, 4 sliders, and 2 cutters. However, the biggest, thing that happened in this game was early in the game, in the 3rd inning, bench is clear because Hunter Brown hits Zach Nato with a fastball, kind of in his hand, forearm area. But Zach Nato didn't appreciate that. Hunter Brown looked a little stunned that he was even talking to him a little bit. And, just things escalated quickly from there. I think Christian Moore was like one of the first ones out the dugout saying things to Hunter Brown there. But nothing happened. And, it was just a crazy situation at that point. But we do have some quotes of what Hunter Brown thought and Zach Nato thought about that situation. This is from Hunter Brown, and I quote: "Honestly, he almost swung, so I don't know what he's talking about. Guy stands right on top of the plate, doesn't like when he gets hit. That's the problem." So Hunter Brown wasn't having any of that with that quote. So
Mhm.
and sure, I mean, he's been great this entire time. He's usually on his A game. And the thing with Hunter Brown, when you have a high velocity fastball, that's your bread and butter. That high inside pitch, to hit that thin part of the bat. That's all you're trying to do. And this is what Zach Neto had to say about this situation. He said, and I quote: "You go back to the history we have. It's not the first time he's done it, and for him to go up there and again, enough is enough." Zach Neto later did say, just I'm just paraphrasing here after this, is like, yeah, he was in the moment. It was just like in the moment thing, a reaction. The adrenaline was up there. He does have a lot of respect for Hunter Brown, and all that good stuff. And he understands it wasn't intentional. Now it was just a heat of a moment situation. But what do you guys think about that?
I think Hunter did his job. He's just doing his thing. Like as a pitcher, if somebody's cramming the plate, or like as a catcher too, I'm gonna freaking jam you up inside. I'm gonna throw you in inside, try to brush you back off that plate because if my pitcher's not comfortable where he wants to put his stuff, then I'm gonna get you off that plate. And I just feel like Neto didn't mean to get mouthy, but it's also like he said, mentioned it's the heat of the moment. Nobody likes to get hit, especially when somebody's throwing 90 plus. Like it
Yeah.
does not feel good to get hit, especially because if it's your hand or somewhere that you might be missing time, you might even be out for the season. Who knows, depending on how ugly it could get. And I understand Christian Moore coming back and trying to back his boy, but he had no reason getting that deep into it with Hunter. Hunter seemed pretty bothered as Christian maybe said something really offensive to him, but Hunter stood his ground, and I thought I was about to see the second coming of Nolan Ryan. I thought that some hands were going to be thrown, maybe some blood on the jersey or something, but I'm just glad they kept a good sportsmanship regardless of the little tensions that rose.
Yeah, just to add on to that, with Zach Neto, he's one of the most known MLB players in the league that likes to stand on top of the plate. And of course, you got that batter's box for a reason. And I remember me personally, for me growing up, you were always taught to kind of almost get on that chalk to make sure that pitcher can throw in. If you have fast hands, you're able to put that bat head real quick on the inside pitch, and obviously it goes down the left field line, home run, whatever you want to call it. So with Zach Neto, he really doesn't have, I would say, that fast enough bat speed. He did give away his late kick that he used to do last season, but just Neto himself, he's always been one of those guys to be on top of the plate. And like Steban said, if you're a pitcher in that situation, you're gonna try to go up in his hands and try to get him to I can't think of the word, but basically not hit the ball very hard, very soft contact, and all of that. So with Neto, of course, you do understand, and for him to say you go back to the history we have, I don't. For Hunter Brown, I
Yeah.
think
I
there's
was
no history at
I
all.
was
He's
confused
just
about that too.
yeah, I think he's just doing his thing. For Neto though, he has been hit in the hand before. It's not his first rodeo getting hit in the hand. And if it's the second time Hunter Brown has done that, well, Hunter Brown's not going to change. He's honestly not going to change his game. And he did what he did. He threw inside. He didn't mean it intentionally to hit him in. But of course, when you've seen all these other hitters out there, like for instance, Jose Altuve too, the WBC, we can go back to that. Goes in, hits him on the hand. Usually you're taught to kind of put your shoulder back and let it hit your elbow or your shoulder, your left side of your back. But in that situation, just literally didn't have it for him and it hit his hand, unfortunately. But I'm siding with Hunter Brown on this because as a pitcher in them type of situations, especially if you have a scheme on a guy, I try to get him what he's not known for, then by all means I'm gonna use that to advantage. And it's just one of the things that just went bad. And honestly, for Neto, it shouldn't be thinking it was intentional.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little confused when you said the history we have, and I guess Hunter Brown has hit him before, and that's maybe last year or something like that because he was referring to that a lot. But I don't, I don't see it as a big thing that should have had escalated, like you said. And then I was backing you up on that best because as you were, talking about it, I was looking it up. Uh, he has a 71.4 bat speed, which ranks 40 percentile in MLB. So, like you said, not a fast bat to be, you know, standing up that close to the plate. But I mean, that works for him good. But just know if you do stand on the chalk, you are going to get hit a little bit, and that's And when you're saying about you're supposed to turn back, it's kind of hard to do that when you're getting
Yeah.
98
Mhm.
miles per hour. Like that's reaction time on that too. So it just happens. But yeah, I mean, I think Zach Neto was just kind of vouching for himself too. He doesn't want to get hit in the hand or anything like that and be out for some time.
Yeah, I think Neto needs to take some notes from Altuve because I mean Altuve was thrown out literally all series, dodged every freaking ball that came towards his head, and gets booed by the whole stadium and just shakes it off and shrugs it off and remains to play the game that he knows and loves to play. So that's something Neto will eventually over time learn.
And also just to add on to Neto too, he's honestly a really genuine guy. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know I've interviewed him last year,
Yeah, me too.
and he's very open. He's always approachable to talk to. So for the human being, as like he said, he in the moment kind of thing for him. But as a person, he's a really genuine person. Just to go back to that real quick with the Neto being on top of the plate, I don't know if it's in high school or in college, but if you're on top of the plate and it hits you, ain't that called like a foul ball or a
I
strike if
think
you're on the
it's.
clock, if anything?
No,
If I'm
I
not
think it's
mistaken.
more if you lean in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
You in? Okay.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the batter's box for a reason, right? So if we get hit there, I think it's more we lean in. But like speaking of genuine, Hunter Brown too. I think that's like the most fury I've seen Hunter Brown in a very long time. Like, I mean, like yes, he gets upset with himself, but to somebody else like that, I think that's like the most heated I've seen him. Even in the clubhouse too, he's very approachable. Like I interviewed him for one of the stories I did, recently, and he was cool. I told him he had a minute. He gave me three. Just cool with everything too. So stuff like that.
It's them Detroit boys. Let's say that when you're from
Yeah.
Detroit, you're a bad mother effer. And sure enough, Dusty Baker did say that in one of his quotes when he was managing the team. Um, while Hunter Brown was on it, there's a quote out there. I know China Rome has a tweet of it, but yeah, don't mess with them Detroit boys.
I wanted to touch on a couple Hunter Brown stats while we're still talking about this first series and Hunter. Lowest percent of walk coming into this series for Hunter Brown. Lowest percent of walks to allowed to score. Hunter Brown allowed 0% of his walks to score, and following him is Max Fried at 5%. 0 of 26 walks have scored on Hunter this year. That's a good stat to have for him.
Stats by Stevie, don't forget it. Do
And then I
not
got
forget.
like two more.
You got to say, this is a stat by Stevie right there.
Yeah, I got a
Put
couple
that
more right
trademark
here.
on.
Hunter Brown, league leading pitchers allowing sub 200 average versus right-handed batters, and left-handed batters 1.94 behind Skeens and Rodon. Hunter is sitting at third in the league, and for hardest hit rate, Hunter has the lowest this season, second lowest this season, following Ranger Suarez is 29%. Hunter Brown is sitting at 31%, followed by Chris Sale 32%.
Those are
And then
unbelievable names to be a part of, though. That's
and then
just
and then I'm gonna give you another one because since Hunter's just doing so good, Hunter Brown situational pitching with runners in scoring position, 208 average 2 out RSP, 1.50 average runners on, 1.70 average, high leverage 1.84. So I mean Hunter's just like getting everybody to bat sub 200 for anything. Runners on, runners off, two on, no on.
basically pressure is a privilege to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
But yep, stats by Esteban right there, ladies and gentlemen.
But we'll move on to game two. The Astros did not have the best second game as they lose this one 9-1. Brandon Walter has his first bad start in his Astros uniform. 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 7 earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 Ks. It took him 99 pitches, 66 strikes, 26 cutters, 24 fastballs, 22 changeups, 14 sinkers, 13 sweepers, and he did get a total of 14 swings and misses. So I mean that was good on his end. And one thing that it wasn't his best performance, but I was glad that Walter was still able to keep himself in the game and at least keep the bullpen out of it for a little while to finish his job, even though he was able to get taxed a little bit. Um, the offense, not so much offense here. The Astros were only allowed to have 3 hits this game, Paredes, Walker, and Myers, the only Astros with hits. The Astros did sadly strike out 13 times, and Soriano had 10 of those strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of figured Walter was going to have a start like this. It was due time. I mean, he's been great for what, four consecutive starts. I'm gonna touch on it too. It's like it's about to happen. It's just a matter of when, and now's that time, right? So the thing for Walter is you kind of have to brush this one out the way. Your bad game happened. Let's move on. What didn't work, what worked, and just move on from that. Like for example, Lance McCullers when he came back, he had a horrible start after that, and it's been before he got hurt was pitching a lot better now. So it's just one of those things you got to brush it off, learn from those mistakes, and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, for Walter though, like you said, said, I mean, 6 innings of 99 pitches. Yes, I mean it was a lot of runs were scored. 14 swing and misses, another good stat. But being able to go 6 innings strong, basically only allowing your bullpen or even one bullpen pitcher to go out there and throw 2 innings. I think Nick Hernandez was the guy after Walter. Throw 2 innings, save some of them high leverage guys or even the middle relief guys for game three because you don't know what happened. It could be in that series finale, especially with the day off on Monday. So good to see Walter be able to go through that. Yes, like Angel said, sadly, it did happen and it was bound to happen for him. But on the bright side of it, 6 innings strong, 99 pitches, 14 swing and misses, really not a bad, um, outing gone at the end of the day.
Yeah, this,
Yeah, and go ahead, Seba.
you got it. You got it. You
I
got
was
it.
about to say, and 66 strikes is what I want to touch on. So that means only 33 balls, right? So I mean, the thing with Walter, he's not gonna give you those walks, those free passes. I think in this outing, it was just too many hittable strikes, and that's
Mm.
literally what it is. Many missed locations, not making that ball deceiving enough, and it's just out over the plate. And I think like I said earlier in game one, the Angels came in with a plan, did a really good job of executing offensively, and they have a pretty good squad out there, and they just took advantage of those mistakes.
Yeah, somebody that was being a big nuisance for the Astros that heated up against us that I want to bring up was Logan O'Hoppe. Every time his
Oh yeah,
name was mentioned, it seemed to have been that there was a runner on every time. Every time he would hit a home run, it would say Logan O'Hoppe, 2-run home run. Logan O'Hoppe, 2-run home run. And that guy was just on fire.
Yeah, he's really an underrated catcher in this division. Of
yeah,
course, you're seeing what Cal Riley's doing over there in
32
Seattle.
today.
Yes,
32.
MVP. Honestly, an MVP right now in the American League. Of course, Yonder Diaz, Jonah Heim had his time. Shea Langolier. So there's some really good catchers in this division, and Logan O'Hoppe, I feel like he's been underlooked a lot because, of course, he did injure himself, if I'm not mistaken, last year, out for the season. But this season, man, his bat has been really hot. It's really done a good job for the Angels. And not to mention, too, when we're talking about the Angels real quick, Soriano with 10 strikeouts. Tip your
yeah.
cap to him. Kept the guys off balance. And, yeah, Astros striking out 13 times. Not a good number that you want to see, but it's some of them things that you just got to tip your cap to the opposing pitcher. And really, Jose Soriano did a really good job against him.
Yeah, Hoppy literally had 3 hits, all home runs, so he was just on fire.
Yeah,
Nope.
Soriano did his job. Like I watched the game and he had the Astros lineup full. Like he would come on them early and then just throw a bunch of junk. I was seeing guys swing at sliders in the opponent batter's box.
Mhm.
Like it was crazy. he was just fitting himself out there and he was just putting on the clinic.
Yeah, basically just mixing his off-speed pitches. That's what good, really honestly good pitchers do. They mix it up, not allowing it to be in the middle part of the zone, not leaving nothing up and hanging anything. And that's what he did, like you're saying, pitching the ball to the other side of the batter's box. Of course, you do got some of the players on this Astros lineup that usually has a little tendency to chase. And that's what Soriano was looking at, just the way the approaches were in the box. And sure enough, it was an advantage to Soriano. But we will move on to game three. The Astros would win the series finale 8-7. Instead of starting with the pitching like we usually do, let's start with the offense because that's what the talk of the town on game three. 13 hits for the Astros, better than 3 from last game. 13. I added 10 in this one. Astros scored 4 runs in the 5th and 6th inning. Every Astros player in the lineup recorded a hit except, does anybody want to take a guess real quick? Except
Mm,
I don't know. You tell me.
Caratini?
Cooper Hummel.
Oh man,
Cooper
that's a
Hummel
good
was the only one that did not get a hit. Jeremy Pena with another multi-hit game. nothing new there with 2 RBIs. Mauricio Dubon, I think being in the state of California, I would like to say he loves hitting in Cali, especially being from Sacramento, going from there, coming to Anaheim, visiting Mickey Mouse, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. Jake Myers in the two spot in this lineup. Went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And Christian Walker, of course, he's been hit into some bad luck, but another multi-hit game for him, going 2 for 4 in this one. So it was good to see the Astros give Esau Paredes a day off too, because of course his hamstring's still good. There's reports on that's still healthy and he's feeling fine. But you want to give these guys extra days off because of running of the bases. Paredes playing third base as well. Have that quick twitch fibers in your muscles, so you do not want to rupture them, or unless you want to get a torn hamstring. But before we move on to the next thing, pitching real quick, Ryan Gusto gets the win. Yes, the stat line doesn't look really good. 6 innings, 5 earned runs, no walks with 7 strikeouts. I will say this, the first 2 times of the batting order, he looked really good. By that third time around, the Angels were starting to kind of figure him out. 2, on the other hand, Gusto was leaving some pitches up in the zone, and it was some mistakes with 2 outs. Majority, I think, literally all his runs came from 2 outs. And guess what? It was a Nolan Chanel, if I'm saying that name right, 3-run shot, and if I'm not mistaken, too, a Logan O'Hoppe home run, a 2-run home run. So not a bad outing. Just for him, more than anything, I would say for Gusto is just trying to get, figure out that third time around the lineup. Of course, fatigue kind of sets in. Your mechanics kind of throw off a little bit, but at the end of the day, he does get the win. 5 runs, of course, not pretty in the book, but did go 6 innings strong. Gave it to the bullpen with Brian King, Brian Abreu, and Josh Hader getting his 19th save of the season, which I believe he's in the top 3 in the American League saves category with Carlos Estevez and Andres Munoz.
Yeah, he is top 3 in that. But I mean, this was a gutsy win by the Astros. They really had to, all 8 runs needed to happen or to take this win, and all it took is 2 innings to get it done. But again, like I said, this Angels team put up a really good fight against the Astros, and it was a good series. And Hader, gave up a run, so every insurance run needed was, a cushion that the Astros had to have.
Yeah, it was a good series overall, and they didn't, they needed to win this series because they split it in Sacramento, but especially with divisional opponents, you got to take care of business. And I'm not saying the Angels are a bad team, but these teams could put you out of a playoff spot when it gets closer to September.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Gusto this game, and he did start out pretty good, and then eventually the Angels, knew what they wanted to do and were able to figure things out and kind of adjust to him. But I want to shout out him for eating up some more innings. I wanted to throw out there that the rookies this year for the Astros have 144.2 innings pitched total, which has them in the top 5 in the league, I believe. So I want to shout out to them guys getting the job done. Shout out Jake Myers, his 10-game hitting streak. Dubon multi-homer. Dude's just on fire. And like I mentioned, I thought the Astros were going to get a Kyle Hendricks pretty soon, and that's what they had did in this game. They were able to get him out the game, but he was starting off getting everybody some soft contact, weak contact, and getting people off sides with his off speed.
Yeah, you're on mute, can't
You're muted.
My fault, but yeah, Kyle Hendricks doesn't, again, like I said, last part, doesn't throw fast, but can really locate his pitches, and sometimes that can be fielding for hitters.
Yeah, that's what usually veterans do too. They're going to keep you off balance. They're going to try to figure out what your weakness and what your strengths are. And Kyle Hendricks was pretty successful in the beginning, but then the Astros too. They're a very veteran high team in the other side. And sure enough, second time around the lineup, 4 runs in the 4th, 4 runs in the 5th. I mean, them are big league at bats from guys like that. And then especially with young guys like Cam Smith, what he's doing too. I mean, he's doing a really good job in that cleanup spot. Now, I'm very, personally for me, I'm very shocked to see him in that cleanup spot because of the contact that he has. Of course, him being a rookie, but man, that confidence is at an all-time high right now in this month.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looked really good.
Yeah, we had a guess, Altuve.
Yeah, the Astros moving him up shows a lot in the kid, and especially for him to take that forward and be like, hey, you know what? I don't care if you're gonna have me in ninth or you're gonna have me fourth, third, whatever you want to put me, fifth. You want to plug me in, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna try my best to get the job done, and not just Cam. The whole lineup, 1 through 9, is just everybody's feeding off each other. Everybody's doing well in situational hitting, trying to get runs in, get the running over. So these guys are just like you can't write these guys off. Every game they play, I feel like it's winnable, regardless if they're down by 6, 5, maybe even 9. This team just finds a way to kind of dig deep and overcome these obstacles and these high scoring games, and even coming in late and getting the victories.
Yeah, I mean, we even also got a shout out to Guillorme, who's a nice defensive presence on the field. Honestly, his versatility really helps this infield
Yeah, he
squad a
definitely
lot.
had a shot against his old squad.
Especially them. But just a little add on to you, Steph, on what you're saying. Like you're shouting out all these players, and you're not hearing the guys like in our episodes lately. You're not hearing a lot about Jose Altuve. You're not hearing a lot about Jordan Alvarez. Of course, Alvarez is on the IL right now. Yainer Diaz, who had a really good season last year. Look at the guys: Jake Myers, Mauricio Dubon, Jeremy Pena. I mean, those guys, of course, Jeremy Pena did win the World Series MVP at 22, but his offense kind of had declined after that. But look where it's at right now. Jake Myers taking a big step in his offensive surge this season as well. And Mauricio Dubon, too. Whatever he can do, 8, 9 spots, 7 spot in the lineup, he's really helping that bottom part of the order. So when it comes to the top part of the order, you got guys in runners or scoring position for the next guy to bring you in. So, yeah, it's not just the all stars, the MVPs, and all them type of players, but it's kind of like the role players in these type of games helping up when they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're kind of looking at the new age Astros, kind of like, like they're trying to get a little younger. They finally got some good prospects coming in, some, young, healthy guys. And, like it starts with the new acquisitions. You start fighters, like you said, Cam Smith has been doing a really good job. And Jerry Pena stepping up has been huge for the Astros. He's kind of replacing the cow sucker from last year a little bit. Just like, it's just the way he's played. Like when they made that cow Tucker trade, many people was like, "Oh, Cam Smith's going to be a replacement for Tucker." It's like not this year, right? It's not going to happen. But Jerry Pena has been that guy, and I'm sure. Like, will Cam Smith be a guy that can replace Kyle Tucker? I'm sure, probably right. But at this moment in time, imagine, if you're a Nationals fan, imagine Jerry Pena playing at this high level, and then Cam Smith figures out he's not quite just hitting Crawford box shots. It's looking good for the future of the Astros.
And then once Walker gets it together, like right now, Walker's struggling on the heat right now, but he's not missing any sliders, breaking balls. If you're leaving him anywhere in the zone, he's smashing them. Hard hit balls, spraying it left center, right center, you name it.
Yeah, and even too, Yainer Diaz one like hit
Oh yeah,
300 last season. He's right now inconsistent. Jose Altuve is another one that's now like starting to get the groove of things again. So when this team starts to click, and you continue to have the presence of Myers and Pena and the way Paredes has been hitting, the way in the month of Cam Smith has been in June, it's insane. It's really like a team that looks like the favorites in the American League when it gets closer to September with a full healthy squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everything's clicking pretty Astros right now. I think a big thing we said in the beginning of the season is when this Astros team starts clicking, it's going to be looking good, and that's exactly what's going on. And like I said, June is the Astros month, so you see June is when the Astros heat up, and that just continues to the rest of the season.
Yeah, very good point on this one. Now the Astros are playing small ball, it's connected the team to make the next small play turn into a huge play. For instance,
And that's
Jeremy Pena beating out infield hits.
yeah,
or
You
Jose
know,
Altuve picking up his 20th infield hit
yeah.
of the
So
season.
I think just the base running too has been very aggressive. So that's just a hoorah to the front office, to the organization, to the managers, the coaches. I mean, everybody. It's not just on the players. It's like everybody behind the scenes too has been doing a really good job, and they're really doing it without one of their best and key hitters in this lineup in Alvarez. So
Yeah, I'm sure like everybody had this team kind of written off once they seen Jordan go down. I bet you everybody was thinking like nobody's gonna be hitting home runs, but these home runs been coming from 1 through 9, not just your power sluggers.
yeah, not to mention too Nolan Arenado was kind of feeling some other type of way when Kyle Tucker got traded because he didn't know what the direction the Astros were going to go to. And look where it's at right now. First in the American League West, 4.5 games in front of the Mariners, who a lot of analysts, baseball reporters, columnists, journalists, everybody, I wouldn't say everybody, but majority had either Seattle or Texas taking this division. And of course, there's injuries plaguing both teams as well as the Astros. But look, the Astros, look what they're doing with the rotation that they're carrying right now. Losing Alvarez right now, I mean, it's very impressive what they're doing in this at least this half part almost of the season.
The Seattle.
Kind of lagging, huh?
I don't know. He kind of froze on that. I don't know if that was a question.
Yeah, he froze
Yeah,
on
my
us on
fault. Yeah, my Wi-Fi has been kind of spotty today, but no, I was just saying that that's the actual culture finding ways to win. It's just they make like people say they're inevitable, and that's just the foundation that the Astros win. Just next
Yeah,
man up
I want
mentality.
I want to give them a shout out because you go from not even being on the top 10 power rankings to consistently staying top 5, top 8 on these power rankings with the Astros the way they've been playing ball lately.
Yeah, what this team does really good too is don't even look into social media. Don't care what other people think. They just go out there and play ball. They're really good at doing that because some young players too that can affect you. And for Cam Smith, of course, social media being a big thing as a young MLB ball player coming up and through the system and one of the best teams in a good decade almost. That's kind of big to do, and he's done a really good job carrying himself not as a rookie but as literally almost like a veteran.
Okay, honestly.
Yeah, but to finish this off real quick, overall thoughts: Hunter Brown, like Angel had mentioned, we had talked about that big bitches cleared thing. Hunter Brown's a dog. I don't think you want to mess with him, especially when he is angry and mad. So, like I mentioned too, them Detroit boys are different out there. Steban already had talked about a little bit of Jake Myers. The two spot was very interesting, and he really answered the call when the Astros needed somebody, especially giving Paredes a day off. 10-game hitting streak. Like I said, that offensive surge he has been doing this season has really helped the Astros solidify really their new center, not new center fielder, but their starting center fielder for a good while. So credit to them too, guys.
Andrew, you froze on us again.
He froze again. Go ahead, Steban. We'll move
We'll
on.
get back. We'll get back to him when he decides to
Do you want
join
to say
us.
last year, 2 years ago, many people were. Did it happen again?
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
happened again.
Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
froze. Oh,
Yeah, go
my
ahead.
fault. Godly. Uh, and I'm gonna say about Jake Myers is that a lot of people wanted him traded, wanted him gone just because he wasn't hitting. And now look, sometimes patience is perseverance, and that's exactly what the Astros have. The Astros know what they have because you remember when Colin Tucker was starting off too, he was like, oh, they need to trade him because he is not hitting, he can't do it, and it turned out to be, almost putting up MVP numbers if he's not hurt. And now with Jake Myers too, it's like the Astros do a really good job of not giving in when a player's struggling and just letting them work it out, because they see that talent, they know what they got, and Jake Myers is another example of that.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up too as well, I wanted to do a little comparison since we were playing against the Angels, and they do have superstar Mike Trout, who's been up and down with injuries and trying to stay healthy and try to stay up top on the game's best charts. But one of the Astros best players is, as we all know, Jose Altuve. I wanted to do a little stat comparison. So Mike Trout came into the league July 8th, 2011. Jose Altuve came into the league July 20th, 2011. So we're going to do a little rundown of hits, runs, OPS, and playoff games. So for Mike Trout, 1,690 hits. Altuve, 2,310 hits. 1,146 runs. 1,192 for Altuve. .985 OPS for Trout. 828 for Altuve. And playoff games. This is the big one right here. Only 3 playoff games for Mike Trout in his career, and 105 for Jose Altuve.
For those Mike Trout fans, they'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, let's talk about MVP numbers now."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
hey, Trout did have the choice though when his contract ended.
Yeah, he
Where
could have
he,
wrote
he could have
his
signed
legacy.
it. Honestly, he could have signed it his hometown of Philadelphia Phillies.
Or
Just
Ken
imagine.
Houston.
Oh yeah, he could have came to Houston, but Philadelphia Phillies, man, that I think that would have been a really good place for
But yeah,
him.
it'd probably been a crazy lineup right there with
Yeah,
Harper
so
and him.
I mean, the 100 something games to three is a big ass ratio, but honestly, that's in my opinion, that's kind of on Trout if with that part. But the injuries, it just sucks. That's part of the game. Something like that, you just have to really take care of your body.
Yeah,
We
it
got some.
sucks.
We
But
also
we,
got some hot takes real quick. Luis Garcia will be our right closer. I think it means right-handed closer, if I'm
right-handed
not
closer.
mistaken. Yeah, and then Shohei will slump this postseason.
Yeah.
Garcia could possibly be a decent piece in the bullpen, depending how he comes back, and if you don't want to kind of put all that pressure on him, due to like he was coming back from injury and then re-injured himself, so that's something maybe you don't want to deal with again, and then plus due to the game not letting him be able to be comfortable rocking the baby like he usually does, he might have to just adjust his role.
Yeah,
Yeah, could be. I mean, that wouldn't be like a bad luck. Imagine having a guy with starter potential, Luis Garcia come out of the bullpen to kind of hold that lead. I mean, that's a nice guy to have coming out the bullpen.
I mean, the Royals are doing it with Bubic.
yeah,
Oh,
and
he's in the
then
bullpen now.
Yeah, no, well, he's starter and bullpen, so he's
Okay.
either or.
and,
That's what they
and
do.
also to add to that, the Astros have done that in the playoffs with Christian Javier and Luis Garcia. They used to piggyback either one off of another. So I think it'd be a good look into when it comes to that time, but we'll just have to see how his rehab continues to be.
And overall, I also wanted to share with y'all that the Astros do continue to struggle leaving runners on base this series. They left 23 runners on base, so hopefully they could start collecting these runs and bringing them in because it could come in clutch in games like where you lose 9-1 or you barely win by one.
Yeah, I think Brandon Walter would have loved to have that type of runs like 9 for the Angels. But just to add on to that, Brandon Walter, I mean, first loss as an Astro, he's been very consistent for Houston. Like we had mentioned, if you missed the 6 innings, 99 pitches, being able to do that, that's pretty good, even though you did pick up the loss. But nothing to worry about, I would say, for him. He's really done a really good job in an Astros uniform. And last but not least, Steban likes to do shout outs here. So I think he would like to shout out Mauricio Dubon because Dubon, like I had mentioned, he's been really hitting his way into the lineup. Obviously, with Brendan Rodgers out on the IL, looks like second base is really, honestly, for him. Luis Guillorme will get some time at times, but Mauricio Dubon, of course, being that Mr. Utility man, going from the outfield to the infield, he can honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays catcher if he wants to. He could be a Kike Hernandez doing one of them things later on. But the way Mauricio Dubon's been hitting, the way his defense plays out, I mean, he's done a really good job for this Houston team. And I don't know if Kevin meant to say this for Dubon. He needs to keep
Yeah, I'm
Jordan's
pretty
bat for the
sure.
rest of the season. There's a strong possibility that was for Dubon because he had another multi-homer game at Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe he
Or
did.
He
he had
did.
that one home.
Yeah, he did something like that. Or he carried on a home run.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
one
don't
of them
think
home
Jordan's
runs
getting
was
that
with,
bad back.
yeah, one of
But
them home
Uh,
runs was with Jordan's bat though in Sacramento.
speaking of Dubon, um, 4 of his 5 home runs of the year had came on this road trip. So he's heating up, and I could only say maybe Dubon needs to just stay playing on the road, and maybe the Astros could continue not playing at home for Dubon to stay hot. But I hope Dubon could bring this in on this homestand here against 2 really good playoff teams.
Yeah, real
yeah.
quick, Angel, before you move on, I think I just want to see real quick his last 7 games because last 7 games, 4 home runs, 5 RBIs, 3 walks, 9 hits, has a slugging of 1,000,
Nice.
batting average 375. So yeah, like Stephon said, maybe the Astros need to continue having him be on the road whenever they really need him. Start some games out there. So we'll
Yeah, I
have to
think
see.
how about say I think Mauricio Dubon likes experimenting with bats too. I remember he had that big torpedo bat. I've also seen when the Blue Jays were in town. I also saw him chatting with George Springer, and George Springer went to the clubhouse and bring him one of his axe bats too. So, you know, he's always trying to find something new, see what works for him. And right now, I don't think Jordan Alvarez is getting that bat back, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
Jordan needs to stay away from that bat as of right now until the Astros clear him to get back into motion. So as long as he can, leave that bat into Dubon's hands and let him keep the magic going.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
Jacob said, Jordan is in the Dominicana right now, so I don't know if that's actually true, but
Probably
No, no,
uh,
that's true.
no, I doubt it.
imagine though if he is in the Dominicana, maybe he just needs
Yeah.
to relax there for a little, drink
One
some
one
beers on
thing,
me.
one thing I think the Astros should probably do too, since you already got Dubon as your freaking plays the whole field thing, maybe let him get some innings pitched in a blowout game or a game where either down or up, the Astros are down or up on. Be cool. I mean, you see Dodgers bring in Kike Hernandez a lot this year, so you seen Cesar Salazar come in. What is ERA, by the way?
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to the Astros doing that. It just depends on how big the lead is and where they're placed in the division. I'm guessing too, but
Yeah.
I mean that'd be pretty cool to see a utility guy actually play all 9 positions in one season.
That'd be nice. But are we ready for the Phillies matchup? Perfect. But the Phillies are in town, and honestly, all these three games are must-see TV. It's gonna be a great series. Could be a potential World Series matchup because both teams are leading their division. Both teams are playing really good. Right now, you got the Phillies with a 47-31 record. They're first in the NL West, and they're bringing in an offense that has JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Bryson Stott, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, and something's gonna have to give because the Phillies currently have an 8 game win streak, and the Astros play really well at home. And something's gonna have to give out. But if you don't have anything to do on Tuesday, definitely hit up Dyken Park because this is gonna be a pitching matchup, a really great one. You got the Battle of the Southpaws Tuesday 7:10 start time. Ranger Suarez versus Framber Valdez, and this is a matchup you do not want to miss. Valdez comes in with an 8-4 record with a 3.09 ERA versus the Athletics. He went 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts. I do think it's gonna be another battle for Framber Valdez because this Phillies lineup is really good. They're gonna work their walks and be active on the base path as well and do anything to get those runs in. But Framber Valdez has been great in his own right. Since April 20th, Valdez is tied for first among AL pitchers in wins, fifth in strikeouts, seventh in ERA with 251, and ninth in opponent batter average with 208. However, Ranger Suarez has been good. He's 6-1 with a 2.20 ERA versus Miami. He went 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He's a lefty with a 6 pitch mix. Throws a sinker, changeup, cutter, fastball, curveball, and slider. He's mostly gonna be working with those sinkers, changeup, cutters, and fastballs, but he will mix in those breaking pitches depending on pitching matchups. And like I said, Sonny's gonna have to give. Talking about this is great at home. Well, Ranger Suarez is great on the road. And 4 starts on the road, he's 3-1 with a 0.98 ERA and a zero point 0.9 WHIP. So I guess loves those hotel beds and hotel pillows because he's also coming from 5 consecutive quality starts.
Yeah, this matchup is going to be, like you said, one of the best probably in this series. And like one of them has to give. Remember, Valdez has been really red hot in his last 8 games. And Ranger Suarez, 5 consecutive quality starts, really good on the road. Another pitcher's duel, and like I said, another game that's probably going to come down to the bullpens, if anything.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty tough for both sides of the offenses on both teams. You pretty much got dang near identical pitching,
Yeah.
pretty much the similar pitch mixes and come and hit me type of mentality from both pitchers, and both these guys are they're on a heater right now. So this is going to be an interesting one, and I just also want to let Framber know, please do not leave anything pretty on the first pitch against Schwarber because Schwarber has a tendency to get going on these lefties first and quick on games.
Yeah, I think this ballpark plays well with Kyle Schwarber too. Kind of the short, uh, right field. So I
If I'm
mean,
not mistaken, too, though, real quick, this is Framber's first start since, I mean, against the Phillies at home since Game 6. If
Dang,
I'm not
probably.
mistaken, I think. But
been
I
a while.
mean, the Phillies don't come around that much, so probably,
but
So
they did come in 23. I do remember that.
I don't know if he was pitching then. So
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I'm not 100% sure, but if you're a Nationals fan, you're hoping for that type of Framber Valdez from literally the 22 World Series.
yeah, and honestly, I think the Astros are kind of lucky that Jesus Saros not pitching because then they would have faced their three-headed monster there. But I mean, they're getting two of their best because Wednesday's matchup 7-10 Zach Wheeler versus Colton Gordon. Again, Gordon 2-1 record, 4.54 ERA against the Athletics. He did win 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And for Gordon, I mean, if he does more of the same, I think he'll have a really good chance to, beat the Phillies. He does need to limit the walks, which he does a great of. And the thing with Corton Gordon is he's going to allow those hits. 7 hits. I think he's allowed 8 hits before. And it's just with a team like this, I think he would have to limit that because it's very hard to win those high leverage situations when you got a stack lineup just like the Phillies to do. And he does, like I say, he does really good job of not walking people. He's 99 percentile on walk rate. I think he's average. I think he hasn't have a start with more than one walk in it. So pretty good stuff there. But Zach Wheeler, he's a dog. Cy Young candidate almost every year. 7-2 record. 2.61 ERA against the Mets. He did pitch 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Has a 6 pitch mix, fastball. Has a fastball, sinker, sweeper, cutter, curveball, and split finger. But he does a really good job of playing matchups. So with his fastball, no matter if he's a right hander or left hander, he's going to see that pitch. However, sinker, sweeper throws it predominantly to right handers. Cutter, curveball, and split finger throws it, predominantly to lefties. Again, but not afraid to throw all his pitches. He does rank 10th in ERA, third in strikeouts, and then which he kind of surpasses Hunter Brown there, and then he's tied for third in WHIP with a 0.92 and a fourth in opponent batting average. And I do want to give this comment up. It says, "Come on out for the chance the Astros win the series." And again, like I said, the Astros did beat the Phillies in the World Series. So yeah,
Yeah, for Gordon, real quick though, that walks. I mean, he does a really good job. He doesn't allow any free passes on the bases, but he does get hit a little bit, a lot, I would say. You got a good lineup like that, a bunch of veterans on that team. They're going to do whatever they can to get this rookie uncomfortable. So for Gordon, has to hold his ground, try to get through 5 innings against one of the most dynamic offenses in baseball.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good one for Gordon to hold his composure and test himself versus a World Series lineup, playoff ready team. So just has to continue to keep that walk rate down and, not try to live too much in the zone, but you don't want to walk nobody. Try to get weak contact on these guys. These guys are going to be swinging the bat heavy. As for Wheeler, he's going to be dotting up the zones, 6 pitch mix. That's a lot. So Astros hitters kind of know what you're going to want because you are going to be off guard at all times.
yeah, and honestly, this is a winnable series for the Astros. I will agree with Jacob there, just because they do have Fernando Valdez, and on Thursday they have Hunter Brown pitching against Christopher Sanchez and a 110 start time. So again, just like the Astros will get the Phillies best, the Phillies will also get the Astros best. Brown is 8-3 with a 1.88 ERA against the Angels. He did go 5 innings, 2 hits, one and run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And he missed that stat line earlier. But Hunter Brown again has been great in his own right. He is second in ERA in the major leagues. He only chose Paul Skeens, who has a 1.85 ERA. He's tied for second in opponent batting average with 1.78. Again, only chose Paul Skeens, who has a 1.75 ERA. And he's tied for fifth in WHIP with a 0.92 ERA. So just under, I'm sorry, just under Zach Wheeler, Zach Wheeler, I misspoke, has a 0.93 WHIP, not 92. And then again, he'll be going against Christopher Sanchez, who's 6-2 as well with a 2.87 ERA. So again, all three Phillies pitchers are pretty, great stuff there. Versus Miami, he did go 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 0 walks, 4 strikeouts, and he has 4 consecutive quality starts against Toronto twice, Pittsburgh, and obviously Miami. But what I found really interesting is when you're a starting pitcher, you rely on like 4, 5, 6 pitches to get you through an outing. Well, Christopher Sanchez only throws three: sinker, changeup, slider. That's what you're gonna get. And he's not afraid to throw them at any count, and it works. The reason he does so is because it works. So Whiteface was broken. Opponent batting average on the changeup is 1.29, and the opponent batting average on the slider is 2.16. The thing is, he will make some mistakes with the sinker, so that's what the Astros would need to take advantage of, is that sinker. Which that sinker, the opponent batting average is over 300. So that's what you need to take advantage of.
Yeah, he's an all-star for a reason. He was an all-star last year and looking like another route to Atlanta, Georgia for him at Truist Park. So the way he's been pitching this season, and it's crazy, only having 3 pitches and being able to have excellent command with opponent batting average like under 2 and near by 216 with that slider. I mean, it's still insane. He's a really good left-handed pitcher, and for Houston, you got to find a way to get him out of his zone and get him out of his comfort. And like you said, 3 pitches. If you're a Nationals hitter, then you're looking for that sinker, changeup, which they both have similar movements, but the slider, of course, you're gonna have to sit back, and with the right-handed heavy lineup that this team has, it should be an advantage for Houston.
Yeah, this is gonna be a really good matchup. Just literally this whole series here has potential to be triple game pitcher duel. If Gordon could live up to his hype and carry the way he's been carrying himself, every game is winnable. Every game should be a possible 6 to 7 innings pitched by every starter that the Astros have here.
More or less. Do you think 15 runs combined by both teams, more or less on that?
I'm thinking, man, it might be less. It might be one of those 3-2 games series pretty much throughout the whole way. Maybe highest score you'll probably see a 6 one night.
Could be. Okay. I can see 15 a little bit more though. I can see it right there at 15, flirting with it, or either 16 or 17. So an interesting though part of this is the Astros in the beginning of the season we're seeing other but right-handed pitchers. Yeah. In this series, you're seeing 2 really good left-handed pitchers, one being an all-star, another one that was a high top prospect in the Miami Marlins farm system, and he's still pitching damn really good in Philly. Oh, not Rain. I'm thinking of Jesus Luzardo, but
yeah,
my fault. I mean, Jesus Luzardo too is fucking good, but Ranger Suarez though, the way he's pitched the couple of seasons with Philadelphia as well, I mean,
dominant. He's been pretty
they're
dominant.
dominating lefties, and shit, that's crazy too. Just to think about it right now, 3 lefties in this rotation with Luzardo, Suarez, and Sanchez. And when you have Aaron Nola, which Aaron Nola hasn't been really good this season, but
and then they might pick up Framber. I'm kidding.
Look at that.
You never know. They might be out there. It might be one of the teams out there trying to push with them with all those lefties they already got. I mean, who knows? Maybe they try to snag up one of the game's best one too.
Strong prediction right there. But my point is, I mean, the Astros have a heavy right-handed lineup, and if you're an Astros fan, you're looking to see if that's up to your advantage in this series against 2 really good, honestly, all-star left-handed pitchers.
Yeah. I mean, again, good matchup overall. The Astros have the second best record in the American League. The Phillies have the second best record in the National League. So, again, very good matchup. Please put, your TV should be onto this game, or
Look at that. We got the comments coming in. Going to be a sweep. Damn, that's very
a lot of confident Astros fans for sure.
Very bold. Oh, we even got a shout out, and not just the players. We got shout outs in the audience right there, man.
Shout
out. Look at that. Taylor Trammell too.
No, yeah,
been activated as well.
Yeah.
And that was a former first round pick too.
Trammell?
MLB The Show legend, Taylor Trammell. But let's move on here. Jeremy Pena has a new rep. Per Chandler Rome, Astros shortstop Jeremy Pena has hired Scott Boras to represent him, sources tell The Athletic. How do we feel about that, guys?
Trying to get the bag.
Yeah, he's trying
especially the season he's having. I mean, Why the hell not? Why the hell not? And this is another thing for Houston. I mean, it's kind of like, man, you're taking so long. You saw that with Hunter Brown. Scott Boras is his agent in November after the Astros got knocked out of the playoffs, and now with Jeremy Pena, Scott Boras is now representing him. I'm not saying the Astros have a bad reputation with Scott Boras agents because Altuve is a Scott Boras agent as well as Lance McCullers Jr. Alex Bregman was too, but you saw how that all planned out. But when you're when you're represented by Boras, you're chasing the back. And looking the way that Pena's season is at right now, it's either one, he's going to get that contract extension going this offseason, or two, he's going to wait it out all the way to free agency in 2027.
Yeah,
We have
Pena.
no comment. No, we have a comment. I think he meant to say give Pena the bag. So
Yeah, especially with Pena finding out the good news that he's got his girlfriend pregnant with a baby on the way, I believe. So I mean, I wouldn't blame him trying to
is
set
this
his
breaking news?
I know, is this breaking news? Because I haven't even heard
I
that.
have not heard that.
I thought that was a rumor that he
Let
got
me
his girl
see.
pregnant.
Well, where's the rumor? Because I'm searching this right now.
Maybe I got
What?
trolled. Maybe I got trolled.
Maybe you got MLB facts like Angel, because Angel I know has a reputation of being
Pencil,
facts.
you got
Just one time.
No, not one time. There hasn't been once. It's been multiple. I mean, just knowing with
No.
with Stella. But
Yes,
I mean,
look. It says right here, yes, Astros shortstop Jerry Pena and his girlfriend Judy Grosso are expecting their first child.
What's the source?
Some orange something on Facebook. This is Google, man.
but you better press that link. I gotta. We gotta see the link.
Oh man, I think this is some troll. It says
Ah.
orange crush
Come
Astros.
on. Come on,
man.
Nonsense with Esteban.
They got me. They got me.
Yeah, hey, join Angel. He's been MLB facts multiple times, so
Oh,
Nah, it's not multiple time.
it has been. It's Wikipedia. Come on, Stefan.
you hit up ChatGPT for that one.
But I will say, ever since him, dating Julia, I think her last name is Grosso. I mean, honestly, he's been hitting the ball. I don't know. I know the offseason preparation he's done though too in spring training. I mean, that's a big part of it. But of course, you want to throw the little small parts of that.
Hey, Esteban, you gotta go.
Damn, just the second time all three of us are on, and now Stefan's gonna be gone. Come on now.
Oh man.
Now he stays because Angel, like I said, Angel has got facts multiple times. So if Angel could get facts multiple times,
not multiple.
So
times.
what is not multiple times then?
It was times? One time.
No, it hasn't been one. It's been twice.
It's literally one. It's literally one.
No, it's been
one. It has not.
I will go pick it out and I will put it on.
Go find it. Go find it.
I will. Next podcast, it's gonna be revealed.
Look, Kev said he'll forgive me because I got another fire hat.
I know the fire hats continue to happen with Stefan, but overall, I mean, Jeremy Pena, I mean, he has the right to go get the bag, and if the way, like I said, if you're in his shoes, and this is me, if I was in Pena's shoes, I would do the same thing, honestly, because he's been doing a really good job. He's a Gold Glove shortstop as well. The bat has really looked really good for him, so why not have one of the best? I wouldn't say one of the best agents, but the guy that's going to try to give you the most in Boras.
I mean, that's his reputation, right? He's trying to, he's not afraid to play hardball and have these players wait to get a good deal. And I think that's a little bit more of what Jerry Pena wants: get the best deal possible, get all his money's worth. Because at the end of the day, you have maybe 10 plus years in the major league. After that, that's it. So you got to collect the bag as quick and as much as you can.
Yeah, and then God forbid you run into any injuries that maybe career ending, like Prince Fielder, somebody that a lot of people were bothered because they were robbed of his career that could have been legend, could have been Hall of Fame with it. But let's move on. Left-handed bat coming soon. On the Astros pregame radio show, Astros GM Dana Brown mentioned it's no secret it'd be good to get a left-handed bat. No doubt about that. That's the big thing for us. We're having discussions about other things, but the one big issue for us, it'd be nice to get a left-handed bat.
Yeah, I mean, The only thing is, for me, it's great for matchup wise, but if you were to get a star, you know, a big time to kind of back, where do you place him right now? Just because this whole offense is playing pretty good, it would have to be like a platoon situation or stuff like that. I know they did get two left-handed bats soon that we're going to be talking about, but it's just is that enough for the Astros to like that's my question. Is that enough, or are they try to get one of those big name free agents or in a trade, you know, candidate or something like that?
I think they need to believe in Jacob Melton once he comes back from injury, but before they maybe potentially overpay or maybe trade away some prospects that you kind of don't want to get rid of.
And that's why I agree with Angel on that part. I don't think if they're gonna get a left-handed bat, it's not gonna be a big star name. So let's get that out the way. It's probably gonna be a guy that's more like you said, Angel, maybe more of a role player because where will you position him? You're right. First base, Walker. Second base, I mean, maybe you could look into that because Brendan
We really
Rodgers.
can't play lefties. Well, I mean, if it's a true
No, left-handed
lefty,
hitters. If they're left-handed hitters,
no, that's what I'm saying. But most left-handed hitters are true lefties. I mean, I know that's not always the case, right? But if it's a true lefty, it's either first base or the outfield.
I mean, more than like, I mean, for instance, I got two names already in my head: Gavin Lux and Ellie De La
Yep.
Cruz. De La Cruz is a switch hitter. Gavin Lux
Mhm.
is a right-handed infielder with a left-handed swing. So you never, I mean, you can find those type of guys.
Mhm.
But shortstop, like for instance, Pena, you're just leaving him there. Paredes, you're leaving him there. Yiner, you got Caratine. So there's not a big name that the Astros need unless an injury does happen. And if you're an Astros fan, you're really hoping that doesn't happen because the way Cam Smith's been swinging the bat, there's no need for that. Jacob Myers is another guy. Jose Altuve playing left field. And like Steban said, you can just hold off with Jacob Melton. Melton isn't a bad hitter, a great defender. Great defender, not a bad hitter. But they do look for a left-handed bat. Then potentially it'd probably be more of a like a backup kind of guy.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but who is a left-handed hitter that is returned to the Houston Astros is John Singleton. And Chandler Rome did break the news. The Astros are bringing back first baseman John Singleton on a minor league deal. Sources tell the Athletic. I think this is it's a decent move. I mean, the Astros just got a guy in Wes Clark in a trade at first base. I think more than likely just getting Singleton is for left-handed presence. And of course, he did play first base last year for the Astros, but knowing that the Astros already know who he is and have familiarity with him, and he's another left-handed bat that can bring some pop into the lineup. But it's kind of a little safe signing, I would say, for the Astros.
Yeah, I think so too. Just because when Christian Walker has a day off, who's playing first base? It's either Caratini, that's been the
Renfroe.
biggest one.
Duvon, Caratini,
Yeah,
Duvon.
but and I'm sure, and they've done great in their own right. I'm not gonna say anything like they're bad defenders, but having a first baseman who his expertise as first base is always good, especially for like those one hoppers or those crazy plays that can happen at first base. Just having a guy that can hit and play good defensive, that's a plus for the Astros.
Yeah, I didn't know you wanted to add a little bit of stub on magic to the Singleton news.
But to the Singleton news,
Singleton news.
did you already cover it?
Yeah, we're just adding your
Oh,
opinion.
like
What do you think of
with my
it?
input on it. Yeah, I was just making sure. Yeah, I
No,
mean,
Astros fan perspective.
it could be kind of like I see it as like somebody I wanted to mention, Jesse Chavez for the Braves. Every time they let him go, some way he finds a way back home to the Braves, and doesn't do the best, but his numbers just get him by, get the job done for the team. And it could be a thing here for John Singleton where if they need him, they plug him in. We've seen his little runs that he goes on, his little insanity moments and hits homers and dives out and lays out for plays, and he loves the city of Houston. So we'll see if he maybe just looms around in AAA or Astros see potential and maybe call him back up for some help.
And then we do have a comment. Jacob Ross says John Singleton does have a really good scoop game. So
Not better than Walker's though. I don't
I'd
think
say
so.
the bat flip is really nice what he brings to the table.
yeah, I'd say Walker plays really great defensive first base.
Yeah, that's why the Astros did go get him. But another left-handed bat, like I believe Jacob had mentioned earlier on the show, Taylor Trammell is activated from the 10-day IL. The Astros did option Shea Wickham to AAA in order to reinstate Taylor Trammell on to the roster. I'm really interested to see how he plays out for Houston. Another guy, too, that can play the outfield. Obviously, with Melton out, DeZenzo out. So this gives him an opportunity to play some left when Altuve wants a day off of being either DH, like I said, a day off of rest, or goes to play second base. Slide Trammell into left field, and then plus his bat. You got a left-handed bat in your lineup, and I'm very interested to see how he plays out in a Nationals uniform.
Yeah, he was having a pretty good spring before he got hurt too. So I mean, it was, but like you said, it's interesting to see how he plays out, and it could be right now. I think Chantrum will probably be used like as a matchup wise, just to get an advantage there, maybe a pitch hitter type of role. I think they'll kind of ease his way back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a start in one of these Phillies games.
Yeah, Trammell is going to be one of those guys that he'll probably be a perfect situational player and just be able to be average producer for the Astros. I feel like he'll be a good sit just to fill in for what you have, and who knows, maybe he likes playing in Houston and he goes off, or who knows.
Yeah. Fun fact too, he is a World Series champion, so he does bring some veteran presence. But if you did not know, he was with the Dodgers and Yankees last year. So when the Yankees did lose the World Series, he was on that team. But in the beginning of the season, he was with the Dodgers. LA did DFA him, and he was able to. Now that's pretty. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty damn cool. Getting a World Series ring on them two teams. But yeah, good interview we had with him too when he came to the Astros Fan Fest. If you haven't checked that out, we have that in our YouTube channel. Last but not least, Astros injury updates. The only one being upon is Spencer Arrighetti, and Astros GM Dana Brown was on the pregame radio show where on Sports Talk 790. And he had mentioned that Spencer Arrighetti could throw a side session off the mound Tuesday, which would be his first since thumb fracture. So it's a small step in the right direction for him. More than likely, like I said, when Arrighetti comes back, it's probably going to be more after the All-Star break, if anything, probably at the end of July.
Yeah, we could just pray here and hope that Arrighetti doesn't re-injure himself as he's rehabbing, and he just feels comfortable and he comes back to Sam, because it was his right hand thumb on his throwing hand, and hopefully he doesn't lose the feel for the ball. Maybe he comes back and he may be wild. So hopefully no control issues here with Arrighetti, and just speedy regular recovery, and could join the team after this All-Star break when we will be needing him. And this is something that I wouldn't have been surprised if Arrighetti probably would have got thrown in against the Phillies too, because if this set had been maybe a 4-game series, you probably could have seen Arrighetti versus their up-and-coming star Mick Abel.
Yeah, which he did. He had one good start, and then he got sent down to AAA.
Oh man, they already sent him down, Mick.
Yeah, and I think that one good start that he made his MLB debut, and then they sent him back down, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, that's a stacked Phillies rotation they got there. So I mean,
yeah, but they also got another prospect too in the upcoming besides Abel as well. So that would have been really fun.
Phillies are here to stay, I guess.
I mean, right when you got Bryce Harper on your team.
Yeah.
We'll see. And then not to mention Nick Castellanos, that just loves to go home runs on tragic days when tragic stuff happens to certain people, or some weird stuff that goes on in politics.
I was about to say, so are we saying home run tomorrow or in this series?
No, I don't even want to bring that up. Don't even bring it up, man.
I just said home run. That's all I said. I didn't say nothing about anything with politics. I just said home run in this series, yes or no. That's all I said.
There'll be homers. There'll definitely be homers this series.
Well, Saban's gonna fall in a puddle, and then Nick Castellanos getting a home run for that.
And roll his ankle. But what a good show. I mean, not an hour 20, thank God. But I mean, it's almost damn near by the time we finish this. Yeah, by the time we finish this, it probably would be an hour 20.
I'm tired.
I know.
Also something I want to throw out there too.
I
want to give a shout out to the LSU Tigers for winning the College World Series too. I know everybody may not be a Tiger LSU fan, but it's just something that's awesome because the College World Series does display some of the game's next and upcoming talent. So people like me, if you're a baseball fanatic, you find quite interest in seeing teams like Coastal Carolina play against, a big D1 school.
Yeah, I was honestly rooting for Coastal Carolina. You always like to go for the Cinderella teams. I want to say Coastal Carolina is a Cinderella team like UTSA, but you would have loved to see Coastal Carolina kind of at least win one of the games to make it a little bit more interesting. But man, LSU, it's just a powerhouse school, man. Football, baseball. I mean, they're a really good program, at least in sports. But that it.
Is it?
That's it. All right.
Road today.
Before we sign off, of course, atop of Angel's Head, that's where we can see all the social media icons as well as YouTube. FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram, Full Steam Ahead on TikTok, and Twitter. So remind y'all too, hopefully we'll get some interviews going this homestand because of course you got the Philadelphia Phillies coming into town as well as the Chicago Cubs with Kyle Tucker and Ryan Presley coming back for the first time in a different uniform as well. Get on Full Steam Ahead on YouTube, subscribe to that channel, like it, hit that notification bell. Like I mentioned already, we're going to have some interviews hopefully pretty soon, and we'll have some shorts and reels with some of these players. So make sure you hit that bell so then you won't miss any of those things. And of course, if you're on the road on 45 and South or 59 going towards Sugarland, because my God, this traffic here in Houston is terrible. You just want to hear our beautiful voices. Make sure you go on to Apple Podcasts and Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We are there. Like, subscribe, rate, and give us some feedback how we're doing. I think we're doing a pretty good job as a trio for the second time of doing a podcast as of 3. Steban, you got anything?
I just want to thank everybody for showing out and giving us your time like always. And for those that believe in God, praise God and amen. I hope everybody has the rest of the remainder blessed week of this week and enjoy some sports.
Got to.
Just what Esteban said, appreciate all the listeners, all the people who are here staying with us the whole time. All the comments again, like we love hearing your interactions. We love hearing what you got to say, what you think, and just appreciate our support. Don't forget to spread the word, share, subscribe. Send a link to your mom, dad, sister, brother, uncle, baby mama, mistress, whoever you got that's needs to hear needs to hear that full.
Throw us on instead of that Love Island.
No, can't too. I think you're a good contestant for that. You're a good contestant.
Yeah, no. I don't think my wife wants to hear that. So
no, but all for real.
But you got Steban right there. It's perfect candidate for that letter.
That's true. We got him on there.
Sign me up. I'm with
but it should be a good homestand for the Houston Astros, seeing really, honestly, playoff teams in both the Phillies and the Cubs. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, just tune in. We might look for some giveaways coming soon. So just be aware. More than likely, our giveaways come from Twitter. So if you don't have Twitter, make sure you make one. We'll have the rules on how to win that prize or prizes. As well, we got some interviews lined up pretty soon, so hopefully we'll get that going onto our YouTube page. So a lot of things coming pretty soon. All-Star as well is coming here in Atlanta, Georgia next month. So like I said, like Angel said, tell your mistresses, tell everybody where they can find us, where they can follow us, and hit that subscribe button because we got a lot of things coming, especially when it gets to that middle part. To the end of it, we're going to keep going full steam ahead. Full steam.
Like that little intro right there.
Like that right there. Huh? All right. Until then, y'all stay safe. Have a good week. We will talk to y'all either more than likely Thursday night to give you the recap of that Philly series and get you the preview of 2 former Houston Astros and Tucker and Presley coming into the weekend with the Chicago Cubs. But till then, y'all stay safe and y'all have a great night.